Hello and welcome back to All Things Trentside. Hope you're all well, guys. It's good to speak to you again. It's been a long week, hasn't it? It feels like football is now back, especially how we're waiting, all week for the games to come back, especially from the weekend before. You're waiting for the start off again. It feels like football is well and truly back, but yeah, it's good to be back. This will be now our second match preview, so if you are new to the channel, this is a new segment we're doing. Of course, when we first started the channel, we did want to do match previews, but of course, with the lockdown and no football being on, we wasn't able to do it. So if you check out our earlier content, there will be stuff on there, about our team of the decade, just giving our opinion on Forest. But now we have some actual football to talk about. We saw last week with our match preview and our match review against Sheffield Wednesday, the 1-1 draw. And now this week it's the turn of Huddersfield Town as Forest return to the City Ground for the first time since March, aiming to cement their place in the Championship playoffs. Big weekend for Forest this, especially in terms of looking at the fixtures going forward, and of course to end the wretched run of form we're on. Only one win, I think it's now in 7 since the win over Leeds. That's a 1-0 win at Cardiff. We nearly got over the line last weekend, but of course Connor Wickham's late equaliser denied us all 3 points. So yeah, it's a big weekend for Forest going forward, especially playing after everyone else. The fixtures that are around them. We've seen Brentford beat West Brom today, Fulham play Leeds, and Preston play Cardiff. 3 massive games for Forest to either close the gap to finish maybe highest place in the playoffs. I think automatic just has gone. The last minute equaliser we conceded at Hillsborough's going to leave a sour taste in our mouth, especially if we win on Sunday. It would have been such a good opportunity to maybe just sneak into the automatic promotion spots, but I think now that ship has sailed, so we just want to finish as high up as possible. I would say get home advantage in the playoffs, but I don't think that makes a difference now. We've seen it in League Two. Chesterfield, Cheltenham went to Northampton, won 2-0 at their place. Then Northampton came to Cheltenham's ground. Sorry, God, this is a mouthful. I will get a point across eventually. Cheltenham hosted Northampton. Northampton won 3-0. But it's just to get higher up the league, really. It's be our highest finish probably, I believe, since the 10-11 season. We're nowhere near the playoffs since then. So just to get higher up, really, and build on something for next season if this one doesn't end the way we want it to. But yeah, it's a big game for Forest. Like I say, we do play on Sunday. For those of you who don't know, it's live on Sky Sports at 2:15, the kick-off. And although none of us will be going, we will be there in cardboard form. I hope you've all sent your cardboard cutouts to the club. I've seen they've been putting them out, banners up as well. It gives it more of a home feel. We've seen it in the Premier League and the Championship. We have loads of cardboard cutouts going. We won't mention Leeds United's cardboard cutouts, but they've really had a shocker with that one, haven't they? I don't think Forest have had one at the moment, but you never know. But yeah, it's going to be weird. Our first home game back since lockdown, no fans there. Be interesting to see how Forest react to that. They played last week. They got used to it, yeah, I'd say, but they know what it feels like now. They know what it's going to be like probably to the end of this season at least, and potentially next season. It's going to be interesting to see how we do at home. There's a lot of people, that are saying that home teams are finding it difficult. I don't think there was many home wins in the Championship last week. So Forest, though, need this home win, to put back this form. We haven't won at home since February. Of course, our last game at home was the 3-0 defeat to Millwall. So yeah, Forest really need to get their act together because, of course, we want to finish the season strongly, not drop out the playoff spots. Just cement that playoff spot at least. Anything else would be a bonus, but again, like I said, I think automatic promotion has gone. I hope I am eating my words at the end of the season and we would celebrate that, but it does seem like a long shot. Just get the playoffs, cement that spot, go into a bit of good form and see what happens from there. But yeah, we'll get into the meat and drink now probably of the game, and that is the team news that we're all waiting for. Big news coming out of the Forest camp is that Lamucci has confirmed that there is no injury concerns. Sam Bassell has been training, having missed the trip to Wednesday. It's his first game back since the 2-2 draw to West Brom. It'd be great to have him back. Also against the Ginger Perlo. not the Ginger Pirlo that everyone wants to come back, Jack Colback. Hopefully we'll have 2 Ginger Pirlos anchoring the midfield next season. But no, it's Ben Watson. He's back as well after missing the game at Sheffield Wednesday for an ankle injury. Big news for Forest that to have them 2 back, especially how rock solid the partnership's been this season. Sam Bassal's record speaks for itself. The only game he's lost in a Forest shirt when he's played has been that opening game to West Brom. It's a shame he's picked up a bit of injuries going forward. I think, like I say, he allows Ben Watson just to sit in behind the defence, sweep up. Sal can move a bit more forward. He's powerful. He's athletic. We've got 2 central defensive midfielders, and so just breaks up play, allows Watson just to sit back a little bit more, and if so gets caught out, if we're going forward a bit more, he's got Watson there. I don't think Ryan Yates offers that. No disrespect to Ryan. I just think them 2 have been excellent this season. It will be interesting to see, talking about Ryan Yates, what Lamucci does do. Will he keep Yates in the squad, or will he revert back to So and Watson? Of course, he has got 5 subs at his disposal. I don't think So or Watson even will play 90 minutes. I think one of them will at least, especially So. I don't think he'll play, depending on the score. I don't think he'll play 90 minutes. He might not even start. It'd be interesting again to see when the team sheet comes out, probably an hour before the game, how that moves forward. One player that will be missing though is Adama Diakhaby. Of course, he's ineligible to play against his current club. I've seen a lot of fans excited about that on Twitter, Diakhaby hasn't really set the world light. It's not even like you can say he brings that extra pace. He might do, but it's a shame that he can't just control the ball. Then we say all this and watch him go and score the winner at Derby next weekend, or the playoff final, something like that, and go down in Forest folklore. But no, there'll be no Adama Diakhaby, but Forest have enough resources, the likes of Amiobi, Lolly, even Tyler Walker can play on the wing sometimes. I think Da Costa, can. I don't think he could play on the wing, but I think he's powerful enough to do that. Semedo's sometimes been deployed left midfield sometimes, so even Cash going forward, if we brought Jenkinson at right back, even Derek was back in training. But that is the team news coming out of Forest. It'll be interesting to see what team we go for. Will Brennan Johnson keep his place? Will we see Thiago Silva pushed up now forward into his usual centre attacking midfield role behind Graben? It's going to be, you can never predict team. I think no one's predicting the team for next weekend. I wasn't expecting Brennan Johnson to start. He did quite well. He'll definitely be involved in the squad, but will he start? That'll be an interesting matter. But for the away team, Huddersfield were without Fraser Campbell and Steve Mounier for their game against Wigan, so they might be back in contention. Carlan Grant, Huddersfield top goal scorer this season. He plays on the left hand side, but he's played up top for Wigan for Huddersfield in the Wigan game. He's hoping that Campbell and Mounier will be available though. Danny Cowley. It looks like Arsenal only Emmanuel Smith-Rowe will be fit as well after recovering from a minor illness. Junior Bakuna has also had cramp in the latter part of the match against Wigan, so we'll see if he will come back into the fold again. With cramp, it most probably he'll be on the bench and maybe come on for the last between half an hour till the end of the game. Long-term absentee is Tommy Elphick, the signing from Aston Villa in January. He remains the long-term absentee, but other than that, Huddersfield again have a full squad at their disposal as well. So, interesting to see if Fraser Campbell or Steve Mounier are fit. I'll be very surprised reading that Carlan Grant normally plays out on the left for Huddersfield due to how good he is. He scored 16 goals for Huddersfield this season. Steve Mounier is second with 8, but even watch him in the Premier League last season. Did he make his debut at West Ham and he scored 2 on his debut? He was Huddersfield's top goal scorer by the end of the season. He'd only joined in January. He's a player that will definitely look to exploit Forest defenders with his pace and running in behind. And of course, if he does play on the left, that battle between him and Matty Cash will be very interesting. Cash is a very versatile forward, gets up and down. I've just realised as well, guys, if you're watching this, if you are an avid watcher of the podcast, or listener, should I say, I wonder how many times I do say after a sentence. I never really noticed it until probably now. It got pointed out, I forgot about it, and now I've heard it again and again. I've probably said it about 5 times in the past past minute or two. So yeah, as you see on Arsenal Fan TV with Troops who says fam and blood all the time, please do a count for me, because I'll be interested to see how many times I do actually say it. I'm going to try and stop. It's just force of habit. But yeah, going back to the talk about Huddersfield. Sorry, if you are the Huddersfield fans listening, I doubt you are, because this is normally a podcast about Forest. But if you are listening, interested to see what I've got to say about your team, then it will be interesting to see how Grant and Cash go up against each other, especially if Mounier or Campbell play. I think if Campbell is fit, it'll be more Mounier. I think it'll be more Mounier. The amount of goals he scored this season. I'm afraid Campbell hasn't really set the world alight after his move from Hull. I don't know why I'd play Karlan Grant up front, but Danny Cowley obviously has his system. He prefers to play Karlan Grant out wide. Kind of like your Jared Bowen type of player, can get goals from the wing or play up front. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, the team is from Huddersfield. There's another one. But no, the attacking force of Huddersfield, oh my God. There's two already. I'm going to try and stop. Sorry about this. But no, how Huddersfield now defend as well. He kept too many clean sheets out of this season. Gabrara on loan from Liverpool. High hopes about him. Normally the number one, Jonas Lersel's come back in the frame now after joining from Everton on loan in January. But Huddersfield need points, especially after last weekend. The defeat to Wigan dragged them right back into the relegation zone. Really, really poor defeat from Huddersfield's side of things. Leaves them now only 1 point off the bottom three. And of course, with them playing before everyone else playing before them, we will see Huddersfield now could potentially be dropping into the bottom three when they come to the City ground. So yeah, there's a lot to play for at both ends of the table in this game. I'm nervous. It sounds ridiculous to say, because normally when you play a team in the relegation zone or in the relegation zone, you think, no, it should be a breeze. I thought about the Luton game, and probably if Simon Sluga didn't let Lolly's near post shot in, the easy shot, then it's a different game. Luton probably go into that game 1-0 up at half time, and it's a whole different ball game. But it went in, and we're not talking about the Luton game, but that's what can happen when we're playing teams like that down the bottom. Especially Forest have struggled a lot this season. If you look at some of our 3 games that come to mind, are the 3 teams that are in the bottom 3 or around that. Middlesbrough, the 1-0 draw against them, the 2-1 defeat against Hull, more recently the 1-0 defeat against Charlton. Forest struggle against the teams at the bottom half of the table. We always have. So we're playing against a team who will probably sit deep and look to counter us, and we're not used to that. I think Lamucci, maybe that system's been found out a bit. If they come in and attack us, we'll just hit them on the break. That's why Forest don't like having the ball quite a lot this season. If you look at the possession stats in Forest games, we really have over 50% of the ball. So if Huddersfield come and set that game up, it's going to be really hard for Forest to break that down, and you see Huddersfield going up the other end and counter-attacking. Basically, it's going to be like a game like that. I think Huddersfield are going to come here. I don't think they'll play attacking football. I might be wrong. I haven't really watched a lot of Huddersfield this season. I know they did really at Lincoln, though, the Cowley brothers. They did play expansive football at Lincoln. Was doing really well. Tyler Walker was on loan there. He knows a lot about the Cowley brothers, so hopefully he can provide us a bit of inside information on how they play. It might be the key for getting a vital 3 points. But of course, Huddersfield aren't going to roll over. They need points as well, so they don't get dragged into League One in their first season back in the Championship. Of course, playing the Premier League not so long ago, they don't want to be back in the back in League One, because it's hard to get out of. Just as Sunderland. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Especially Karlan Grant's going to be the one to watch out for. 16 goals this season, on par with Lewis Grabban with the goals. Probably, he's young. I think he will get a move in the summer, to a Premier League club again, or maybe a top-end Championship club. Can't see him staying at Huddersfield, especially if they go down. We've not had the best of records against Huddersfield as well. Their last win at City Ground was a 2-0 win in 2016. Ended a 30-match unbeaten run for Forest, which, apart from this season, relatively unheard of. And Matt Mills' own goal doesn't surprise me at all. And Philip Billing goal. Earlier this season as well, we did struggle against Huddersfield was in that December slump which Forest normally have. We lost 2-1. Mounier, I think, was it Schindler who got the goal? Worrell replied, but again, Forest lost. We haven't won at Huddersfield for a good few years now, but back at home advantage. Hopefully we can kick on. We beat them in our last home game we played against them. The season Huddersfield went up, I think it was 2-0. We would have seen it on social media the other day. Jamie Ward scored, and I can't remember who got Forest of a goal. I watched the highlights the other day. I know Jamie Ward scored, but can't remember the other one. But yeah, we'll be looking to continue that run. I guess they get our first home win since the 2-0 win over Leeds. I just feel like this cursed our season, didn't it? Getting that win over Leeds, the hype around it, people thinking we could actually do this. But we need to show people that we still mean business this season. People were laughing at us against Millwall, how we fell apart, the last minute equaliser against Sheffield Wednesday. So we need to go into this because Forest got some crucial games coming up after this. I'll mention it more in later videos, but of course we've got Bristol City in the week, another playoff contender. Derby as well, even if we wasn't in playoff contention, it's still a massive game. They are in good form as well. Just to put a bit of gap between us and the chasing pack, just so we can, no, we don't want to, but if we did lose a few games after, or drew to Derby, lost to Bristol City, just so we can maintain that gap. Because if we lose here, results don't go our way, teams climb up, and Forest find themselves comfortably in the playoff positions to not in the playoff positions at all, and it's a hard place to get back into, being the chasing pack. It's easier to get in and fall out rather than getting in. It sounds weird to say if you're saying how close it is around that top six, but I feel like once you're in there and you drop out, it's going to be so hard to get back into the top six. Just a word on the referee. I always do a referee watch now. I say always do. I've only done one of the referee watch, but the referee for this game is going to be David Webb. He refereed Forest 1-1 draw with Preston 1-1 draw with Reading. Sorry, I don't know where I got Preston from this season. The rearranged game, and a few days after the Luton win again, where it looked like Forest won that game in hand. It would have gone second or close to second, but again in true Forest fashion, went 1-0 up. Couldn't see the game out. I say in true Forest fashion, we normally can see games out, but we just couldn't. In true Forest fashion, we conceded a late goal, and it cost us. He refereed 2 games of Huddersfield this season, David Webb, and they have been good wins for Huddersfield as well. 3-0 win versus Hull. This was when Hull still had Jared Bowen. It was in November time, and the 2-0 win over QPR. So he has been Huddersfield's lucky charm this season. 5 goals, non-conceded. So hopefully that changes on Saturday. Am I optimistic about the game? I don't know. I mean, Forest have that tendency of letting you down, especially how we've struggled against smaller teams. Teams that are down there. It's just going to be such a struggle, especially if Huddersfield settle with 11 men behind the ball, will hit you on the break, and Forest have more possession. We don't like having that. Hence why teams come to us and do that. Charlton got the goal, sat with 11 men behind the ball. Even Millwall. I mean, no Millwall are up this season, but as soon as it was 3-0 at half time, that was it. The second half, I couldn't see Forest scoring for the love nor money that Millwall game, but they wouldn't have done anyway, even if it was 1-0, let alone 3. But Millwall still set up, and we struggled to break them down. We find that about a lot of teams, but we need to go there, play our A game that we know we can do. I think a convincing win would be nice, just to show people we know business. Don't scrape past them. Show people that we mean business. We are going to be in that playoff spot, and people fear playing this again. I think they did at a certain point of this season, but now because we're in this rotten run of form, people are a bit like, oh, Forest maybe have been found out, they're going to fall off, and I hope that isn't the case, but we'll just have to see. As for Huddersfield, they need the points as well just to escape relegation, of course, just to pull away from the bottom 3, especially with they'll know how many points clear they can go, or if they climb out the bottom 3, depending on how results go on Saturday. Be interesting to see how they react. Last weekend was a shock result. One was expecting, Wigan to go there, who are struggling themselves. But it'll be interesting to see. There's no loss between the managers. Danny Cowley had a run in with Lamucci in that December defeat, but hopefully that's all water under the bridge now. And the only fighting we see is from the players trying to get fighting for all 3 points rather than the managers fighting and getting involved in more unnecessary shenanigans on the touchline. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Forest. I think every game in the Championship's tough. This league is so hard to predict. It's not an easy league to say, like, for example, the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Mönchengladbach, RB Leipzig can all go to the smaller teams and normally win. I say that, I think, was it Paderborn bottom of the league, got a point at RB Leipzig. Normally it's the teams at the top beat the teams at the bottom, but in the Championship anything can happen. We've seen it against, Cardiff, Charlton, a prime example for us. In response to the Cardiff game against Leeds, by the way, not Cardiff game for us, but definitely for us, the Charlton game on a high after beating second place Leeds, ready to go and close the gap and overtake them. But no, we lost. So it can happen in the Championship, especially Forest record against the bottom six in the Championship this season. I don't think it's pretty reading. I haven't had time to look at all the results and work out how many, but I know our record against the top six. I think we've only lost once to the top six this season. Beat Leeds, drew with Leeds, drew with West Brom, beat Fulham. So it's really tough for Forest, those coming up games. I'll mention them probably in my next match preview against Bristol City, which I'll be doing. But after this, of course, we've got the review as well of the game. But Forest have got some really crunch fixtures coming up. I think the next, after this game, if it doesn't already, the next 3 games coming up after Huddersfield will make or break Forest season. It will see where Forest are at, ready to make the playoffs or not, if we're ready or if we're going to drop out. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks for listening. That is my match preview for Forest game against Huddersfield Town. Again, Sunday the 28th of June. So make sure you're watching. I don't even know why I can say make sure you're watching. You will be watching, cheering the Reds on from home. Hopefully we can get 3 points, get our season, season back on track, but get the playoff push back on track. Make sure we don't slip out, and hopefully have a strong end to the season and show people what we can do if we haven't already. But thanks for watching, guys. If you do like the video, like I say, give it a like, subscribe, follow us on social media. The links will be in the description. I will be back on. I'll upload my review on Monday of the game. I'll try and do it Sunday, but it'll be Monday at the latest. Thinking of the thoughts of the game and what Forest do going forward. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a win back at the City Ground for the first time since March. Sing Mull of Kintyre as loud as you can on Sunday. Come on, you Reds. I'll speak to you all soon, guys.